We are in the heart of the political rally with the Member of Parliament for San Fernando West, the Attorney General, Mr. Faris Alwari. And Mr. Faris, I'm going right into it. Well known as the Superman of the PNM, the People's National Movement, maybe because of his physical appearance or political performance. However, you did a superhero move with the demonetization of the currency. And now there was what? 8 billion. Yet still only 7.5 was claimed. Correct. So where is the next 500 million?
Well, according to rumors on the ground, Kamala Prasad-Bissessar has some questions to answer because I'm told, not she herself, far be it from the truth, the fact is that our intelligence tells us on this campaign trail that people are being invited to accept money from other political parties that are old cotton notes. And they're being told that there will be a remonetization, which is at law impossible.
But as a litigation attorney, let us focus on what you have done. There were how many? 12 courts. That these courts are now in the jail, so there's no transportation of prisoners. Now you're saving us money.
$25 million a year.
But you did about 11 HGCs, yes?
San Fernando West has 25,000 odd people. We have 11 HTC communities. 8,500 people live there. And I am the only MP in San Fernando's history to deal with the renovation and fixing of our communities in all 11 communities at the same time.
In all fairness, I don't want the viewers to say that I'm infatuated with you. So I'm giving you all the good treats. However, yes, you have done so much, but yet still, people get faster housing because yes, there are 11, but there are still people waiting on that list, and that list seems so long because it's slow.
So let me be precise as I always am. There are 173,000 people asking for HTC homes. There are 250,000 families living in squatting. If you go to the squatting communities and you treat with the most vulnerable, the invisible, you're invisible because you don't own the land. You're invisible to the bank, you can't mortgage it. You're invisible to your family because you can't give it. You get to your squatting communities, you make them visible. You build homes with dignity and you tenant the lands, meaning you give them a lease to the lands. To solve the HTC demand, you're now removing squatting demand. You then get to the HTC communities. In San Fernando, we are building in San Fernando West alone 1,000 homes.
And what would you say to the people who are saying, yes, it is politics, and yes, they're seeing you on the streets?
Yeah,
but other than that, it's like there's a separation between you and the people because the people is probably thinking that they're not getting enough of you. There's somehow a disconnect somewhere that is taking place. Yes, the people love you, but there's some little level of disconnect. Are you looking at that as a way to improve? Because we all have our faults, we all have our good aspects, but there is some level of disconnect, Mr. Alwari. Would you say that?
There is always a level of disconnect with some parts of your society because people say cut, but don't cut me. They say fix, but fix me first. They say do, but don't do that to me, do it to someone else. So in San Fernando West, which is my priority, 25,000 odd people, I've now explained to you nearly half the constituency being addressed. The other half of the constituency says, where is my development? Where are my jobs? How do I move from underemployed or unemployed to providing for my family? That's where the San Fernando redevelopment kicks in. Now you asked why now? Is this politics? You don't get a certificate of environmental clearance in a month or a year. It took us 2.5 years to get those certificates. It took us 2.5 years to do the procurement, award the contract, have the loan financing, and arrange the structures. Our housing and squatting development started in 2016. Our HTC development started in 2016. What only started now was a panicked UNC saying, Faris not there. No. Faris has been in the parliament with 536 laws, rules, regulations, orders, breaking all records. Faris has been in his constituency, making invisible squatters become visible to the bank and to their families by way of inheritance and fixing lives in 11 HTC communities. But let's go on to now the rest of the connection. San Fernando Magistrates Court, 75,000 square feet, Sutton Street, Irving Park, under construction. San Fernando Family Court, the Sisters of Cluny Convent on the Promenade. The development of Plaza San Carlos, which is at the wharf, 3.8 hectares.
The waterfront.
I'm on the waterfront now. The wharf is at the waterfront, sorry. So the wharf development, Plaza San Carlos, the fishing port, under construction. 1,002 car parks, San Fernando General at the waterfront. 14 acres of PTSC bus yard. Hafiz Karamat Company Limited, they have that project, $710 million investment. 4-lane road widening at the port, connection of Rushwood Street, connection of Sutton Street, Skinner Park development, HCC 241 homes. Right across from here, just behind us, Carlton Lane redevelopment, 11 HCC community redevelopment, Marabella A school underway, Marabella B school underway. And therefore you have tons of development, which means what? Jobs, sustainable jobs, permanent jobs. We have added 1,000 jobs to the judiciary in my tenure alone. 1,000 jobs. We have 1,000 more jobs to add. So for me, it's quite simple. Your right choice, sustainable future. The right choice does not involve sunshine curing COVID. The right choice does not involve raiding the UTC and raiding the NIB. The right choice does not mean saying, hey, 50,000 jobs. Come San Fernando West and we'll show you 15,000 jobs in San Fernando West alone.
And do you think that you can say the same for the other members of parliament for the PNM? Because it seems to the majority, it's just about 5 ministers that are working and the rest are backbench. What would you say about that?
That's what our opponents will say. We are a well-oiled machine. To pass through first year 96% drop in revenue, to pass through the adjustments in Petrotrin in 2018, to pass through COVID and what has happened, without our society going through the panic that the rest of the world did, means we're doing a good job. All that is required is in 2020's general election on August 10th, put God in your thoughts, drive out what you call yellow cowardice, and just make the right choice. The right choice is who?
The big question is, Mr. Rawi, who will win the West? What makes you so confident that you will win?
She's asking who will win the West. Folks, who will win the West? What's the name of San Fernando's West MP? Right, so these are the people in this community talking to you. It's not me. We didn't plan to come here this afternoon. You saw me in another part of the constituency. I left there to come here. The only reason that this can happen is that performance has to be a factor.
Mr. Alwari, let me ask you another question. Because the world at large is in a global pandemic. What is the future of Trinidad and Tobago after election? Yes, election is our focus right now, but couldn't we put partisan politics aside for the people of Trinidad and Tobago at this time in a crisis?
Yeah.
Would you think that this election polling at this time was a bit politicized, using the opportunity because yes, the Prime Minister handled COVID very well. The world can give praise to him for that. But do you think that calling election, yes, it may be the right political time, but is it the right time for the people of Trinidad and Tobago now?
So let's look at that. An election is due when? 2020. A budget is also due. For any government to be realistic in its planning, you have to allow room for a budget, right? So it was responsible for Dr. Rawi to call a budget into effect, for us to allow a government the room to have a budget cycle go on. So that's point number one. Secondly, politics is about being political. In every political election, you have to exercise politics.
So do you predict a change for this election? Because this is 2020. Do you predict a 2021?
You didn't allow me to answer the question that you asked, which is what to do with a COVID pandemic and how do we come out of it and whether we put politics aside.
Yes, please.
To come out of the pandemic, you need a COVID recovery. The COVID recovery is largely driven by entrepreneurship and construction. To create a society, you have to create wealth. To create wealth, you have to have energy development and you have to have construction development. That's why San Fernando West is alit with all of this construction that is going on. In this structure, therefore, we will work our way out of COVID. In the COVID reality, you have two choices. On the yellow side, the sunshine will cure COVID and we will open borders. I've been to court 17 times. All of their opportunities inside of there, and we've got costs against them. So you got the yellow side telling you, open borders, Lego Ian Allen, you all remember that? Yes. Set Ian Allen free. Why? He was COVID positive. On the PNM side, we say, look, exercise responsibility, manage your borders, maintain your structures. So for me to come out of COVID, there is only one choice. Vote the...
Well, I guess the people have spoken today. We are right here at Nabat Road and coming out here to support their Member of Parliament for San Fernando West. Yes, this is the Honorable Mr. Faris Alwari, and we say to you, thank you.